I was sitting here planning on actually doing a different video and kind of deciding. I have several topics that I kind of want to do, but one of them had to do with this guy in my lap here, and I'm just assuming he's demanding that I talk about him. So I'm going to do that. If I had to say that I have a familiar, which I would say that I do, it'd be this guy. His name's Fat Cat. He's very friendly, if you can't tell. He's a major, major lap cat. And I was going to talk about how I basically found him, as far as like, or I should say, I didn't find him, he found me. Because I'll be totally honest, when we first got him, I didn't want him. It was kind of a funny story. And he is my very best friend in the whole world now. Oh, he's so sweet. So, he's probably 12 to 14 years old. I can't remember exactly when we got him. He was a birthday gift to my brother, actually. And my brother is 17 now. And he was probably like 5 years old, maybe 6, around that age when we got him. So he's a pretty old cat. And he can't sit still very well. Let me show you him. He is called Fat Cat for a reason. And he got his fur shaved off because he's very sick, actually. I'll show you that first before he wants to get down. He has a big scar on his back right now. He had 14 staples because my kitty cat had a precancerous tumor. And I was very, very, very upset, as you might imagine. So thankfully, we appear to have gotten it all out. And he should be okay because he's in excellent, excellent health. So it wasn't like the kind of thing we could leave and he'd get a few more years or something. Like if it turned cancerous, it probably would have killed him really quick. And I was extremely distraught. So my parents were nice enough to help me pay to get that taken out because I could not afford it. And I would be absolutely lost without this guy. He is my very best friend in the world. But I will say, actually, first, you have to look at his face, because he wants down, I can tell. Can you see that little dot? Show everyone your dot. Turn. See a little dot on his nose? Okay, remember that dot. Now you can go. So, when we very first got that cat, we got him at the animal shelter. He was one of, I think, like 6 kittens. And there were only 2 left by the time we got there. Kittens get adopted pretty easy, I think. But someone had taken a brown paper bag, put 6 kittens in it, thrown it out of a car window into a ditch. Not even kidding. Somebody did that. And Fat Cat was one of those kittens. So we went up to, they were actually, PetSmart is where we got him, but it's run through the animal shelter, like the adoption area there is run through the local animal shelter, so we got him from the shelter in a weird way, and they were telling us that when they'd gotten these kittens out of the ditch, they were absolutely coated in mud, they were disgusting, it was very, very sad. And they kept scrubbing at Fat Cat on his nose because they thought that he had mud or dirt stuck to him. And it turns out he just has a spot on his nose. So they kept rubbing at it and rubbing at it before they finally realized they're just scrubbing at his face. So he was not probably too happy about that. But there were 2 kittens and they were identical. One was a girl and one was a boy. The boy was much more laid back, much more relaxed, didn't really want to do a whole lot. He was just kind of chilling. The girl cat was like freaking out, playing like all over the place. So we went in there. It's my brother's birthday present, but I went with my mom and my brother to get the kitten. And I wanted the girl cat. Using my influential powers as an older sister, I tried really, really hard to convince Colton to get, my brother's name's Colton, to convince Colton to get the younger little girl kitten. And he said, no, I want the boy, because it's a boy. I was like, okay, so we got the cat, but I did convince my brother to name the cat what I wanted him to name it, because apparently I have a unique skill of getting my brother to name animals things that I want him to name them, because I did this a couple of times, actually. I did the same thing with the black cat we got later, and I convinced him to name it Shadow, but made him think that he was the one who came up with that name. But we named the cat Stormy. That's Fat Cat's given name. I don't think he ever got called that in his entire life. Ever. Everybody called him Baby. when he was little and growing up, and my parents still call him Baby, and he responds to that name just fine. I call him like a bajillion different names, and it's like he just knows I'm talking to him. Like, he doesn't, it's not even the name necessarily, like, he knows when I'm talking to him. I call him Fat Cat, I call him Old Mew, I call him B Cat for baby. I come up with, I'll be totally honest, I'm one of those weird people who comes up with really strange nicknames for all of their animals and for all of their friends. Like, that's what I do. So, my cat is no exception, and he's gotten several of those over the years. Are you back? He's just wandering around. So, I was really, really upset when my brother didn't get the cat I wanted, but it turns out that several years go by, and of course I played with the cat a lot because I love cats, but him and I were never super close or anything. And then kind of out of nowhere, several years down the line, we both grew up, and suddenly that cat was my best friend, and he has been my best friend for the last 10 years at least. Like, I used to not want to offend my parents when I would call from my college dorm. They'd ask me if I missed them, and I'd always say yes, but I didn't want to be totally honest because the truth was I miss my cat more than I miss them, because I can talk to them, but I can't talk to my cat on the phone, and it absolutely sucked. Like, I was distraught. So when I finally moved out of the dorms and got my own place, I absolutely made 100% sure that it could have cats. And he's been with me now for, this will be going on 3 years right now, but oh, and he's really, really happy right now. He's running around. But the whole time he had those staples on his back for his tumor, he had to wear one of those, like, big satellite cones, because he ripped out 2 of the staples. It was a terrible fiasco. So he had to wear a cone for 3 weeks, and that really sucked. And, like, I would take it off him and let him sit next to me, but I couldn't, like, let him wander off or he would tear at his staples again. So he was extremely excited to get the cone off, and he about drove me crazy last night because him and my other cat, Lugh, if I could find her, I would show you her. She's hiding somewhere right now. But the both of them were rampaging, I mean rampaging, throughout the house all night last night. Like, I could hear things falling over in my living room, and it was terrible. But I knew they were excited, so I didn't get mad. Just let them do their thing. And now he's freaking out hyper again. So, anyway, where's Lugh? Or not. Lugh is a black cat. She's got green eyes, and she always has this permanent look of surprise on her face. Like, her eyes are huge. She's always doing this. Like, she's... that's kind of her face. Unless she's kind of grouchy, in which she sort of glares at you. She never growls, really. She just whines like you're killing her. She's one of those cats. She's extremely whiny. I call her Weenie Mew, actually, because she whines so much. I told you I have weird nicknames for all my animals, so... Anyway, now you know a little bit about my animals, and I'm sure at some point I will find Lugh, and I will show her to you guys, but she's probably sleeping. I'm shocked she hasn't come out, because he's running around everywhere right now. Fat cat? What are you doing? He's like so hyper. Okay, bye.